All right. So in today's video, basically what I'm going to do is kind of walk you through what I see and what I'm looking for when I am breaking down my mapping system on my phone, on my Onyx Hunt. This is kind of what I look at to go in and actually put boots on the ground to e-scout this property. And so we're going to jump into that right now. One thing that I love, like I think it's like the easiest thing, and I like it so much, is when you can find a field that right here and then there's public. To me, that is like the easiest like opportunity just to see deer. Just to see deer in general is, to me, it's just like the easiest thing ever. And so the first thing that I'm looking at here is this field, and you can see that I already have marks here because I've walked this quite a bit. I've had someone sit here before, and so I already kind of know the property, and so I will speak in the form of like what I'm looking for plus what this property brings. This is probably one of my favorite pieces that I'm hunting, that I do hunt. Right here. So this is my stand. This is where I hunt in my saddle at. This is where I was able to connect on a buck this year right here. And this spot plays a really key factor in the reason why you need to get boots on the ground. Is right here. Because you can't really tell until you get into here. But so the one thing that I look at is obviously the field right here. And then if we zoom in, you can see there's tons of deer trails here. So clearly they're crossing in through here. And then when I was able to get on boots on the ground and be able to hunt this or walk this terrain right here, I know that this is where they're bedding at. They're bedding at right back in here. And on this piece back here, they're bedding in here, and they're bedding in here. And so I know for a fact, so this is a hill. So you can't really, I don't know if you can tell if that's a hill, but this is a hill that they walk up. So they walk up the hill, they walk down the hill, and then they walk up a hill, and then they enter through here. And then they either come through here, because there's tons of trails coming in through here. And then this is where they enter the field right here. So there's a huge trail right in here. That's why that black X is there. Is because there's a huge trail. This is where they come onto the field at right here, and then you can see the blue. Sometimes they walk here. They'll walk the edges here. Another funnel spot, another pinch point for them to walk into, and then they can enter the field from the corner. So they'll enter here, and then they enter from the corner. And getting back to kind of what I'm saying about this spot here, when I was able to get back here and just walk this to right, I think it starts here. Like right here, this is just a ridge. So this is all hill right here. All hill, all hill. This basically until you get to here, basically. It's just a hill. And when they come off this field here, they walk the bottom of this ridge. They'll come off the field here. They walk the bottom of the ridge. Right by my stand. They'll walk it and they'll get into here. Anywhere where these deer go, boom. This right here is basically like the center point of their movement. It's just right here. Everything funnels into here. So I've had them come out of bedding here, walk here, come through here, get onto the field. Come off the field at night, because sometimes the farmer, he'll plant like beans in here. They come off the field right here. So like this year, like I know I'm rambling a little bit, but this is kind of what I'm saying. So they will come up. So for my buck, I'll just say my buck in general that I was able to capitalize on. If I was a betting man, he came off this. He was probably in this field looking for does because I shot him during the rut. He was probably cruising this field, coming through here, and then he entered right through here, came off the field, through the trail, through here. I'm not sure. All I know is he came from this direction here. And came in, boom, hit that ridge. At the bottom of this ridge, like kind of like right here, there's a scrape. I made a scrape there, and those does walk they hit that scrape. And I made this probably mid-October, end of October. I made this scrape mid-October, end of October, same thing. I made a scrape here, and these does, man, they walk this ridge like crazy. They walk this ridge like crazy. And so what this buck was doing before I sat here, it was like peak rut. So I took some like Tink 69 doe and estrus, and I doused that thing, that whole scrape in doe and estrus. And so I don't know if he caught a whiff of it. I don't know exactly. All I know is he came off the field and he was on that ridge. And I'm able to sit between like two pine trees, sit like right here. And so I'm tucked into there, so they can't see me. There's like, it's very rare that I get busted back in here because of how tucked I am, but I have like windows. I have like one window to shoot out of. And so that window basically is when they hit that ridge, there's an opening and I can stop them, like whatever, and then shoot at them. Every time I sat here, I saw deer. Every single time I sat here, I saw deer. And because they want to hit this ridge and they want to come out to here, and then they want to get to the field, or they want to get back to the bedding. And so I'm looking for, like, especially these, when you can, like, it's open like this, like you can see a ton of deer trails crossing. I know it's kind of fuzzy here. Here you can see them, like these small lines. That's a deer trail going into here, and then you can kind of see the deer trail going into the field. And so what I'm looking for is those transition marks here going into the woods, going into the field. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. And like I said, I've already hunted this. I've already got boots on the ground on this, so I kind of understand the property a little bit more than just explaining it. Because I know, like, from here, like, you don't know there's a hill here. You don't know there's a ridge here. I know that some mapping systems probably have where you can see the terrain and stuff like that. I don't know how to turn that on the computer, but it will show you kind of like the ground and stuff like that. So if you can find these ridges where they're walking down here, and on top there's tons and tons and tons and tons of rubs just up here, in here, bottom of the ridge, there's rubs all around here. And so I'm looking, so the key things that I'm looking for is bedding, which you get. That was dumb. All right. So the key things I'm looking for in a property like this is one, bedding. Like, bedding is like so important because that's what's gonna hold these deer. So like right here, bedding is gonna be important right in here. Right in here. Like they're bedding all around here. Probably in here a little bit back in here. And they will bed most times on top of the ridge, depending on the season. If there's food in here, beans in here, corns in here, sometimes they'll bed like along the ridge in the morning. So when they come off the field at night, they'll go bed, and then they can get back onto that field in the morning. So bedding, I'm looking for their bedding, and I'm trying to get as close as I possibly can to bedding, like depending on the time of year, because that's going to be important. So bedding is one. Two, I'm looking for a food source. Right here. Food source. I know that I'm in between food. I'm in between bedding. Food and bedding. Early season, that's what I'm in between. Food and bedding. Food and bedding. That's what I'm in between. And so the second thing is that you can't really see it. But in this opening right here, there's a pond. So when they come off this field, they might hit this pond. Deer can bed randomly. Deer will always find food. But the one thing that they for sure need, 100% need, is water. They need water. And one thing that I'm really going to be like emphasizing in my early season tactics is hunting over more watering holes and water. Early and late season, oh my word, you'll be surprised how good hunting over water is, especially early season, because they need to drink. They need to drink. And I feel like recently just getting I feel recently more people are using that tactic of water. And I don't feel like it's that talked about, hunting over a watering source. And so this property holds a lot of stuff that I need, I guess, and I like. And it holds really big deer, really big bucks on this property because there's food, there's a water, and there's doe bedding. If you're hunting bucks, we got tons of doe bedding, we got food, and we got water. We have everything they need here, and it's not pressured. Like, not, I'm like the only one that hunts back here. I've never seen anyone hunt back here because this might be an overlooked spot. It might be an overlooked spot because I don't know. I don't know why it is, but I love finding those overlooked spots. Seek One does it all the time. They find these overlooked spots and they get on giants. So there's a ridge here. We got a bottom of the ridge line here that goes to a watering hole, that goes into doe bedding, that goes into food. This property holds everything that a buck and a doe needs. So that's kind of what I look at when I'm looking at this map, is their transition areas to the field. I will get back here more this year and put up more cameras. Last year was the first time I hunted this, just because I was like scouting it on the EMAP, and I was like, oh, this is public, and why have I never noticed this before? But I will definitely, like right here, there's like a big oak tree here, and I will put a camera here because then I can monitor their on and off the field movement. And I love hanging my cameras high because then they don't see them. It's out of sight, out of view, out of mind. Like, they won't see it. So I like to get one of my sticks, and then one stick, boom, put it up, angle it down. It works perfectly. And so one spot that I will be putting a camera here is I'm going to put one here because this is a very good transition area for them to come off the field and sneak on out the back door, if you will, right here, to go into that bedding. They're going to be checking for does here, come the rut, they'll come off this field, and then they're going to go out the back door and check for does back in here. And so I'll have one here, so I'll get through the back door, and then through the main door, if you will. I'll have one here, so I can monitor their main trail off and on the field right here. I will still keep my one on and off the ridge just because of that scrape. I've had a lot of activity coming on and off that ridge right here. And then I will most likely put one down in here so I can monitor their movement down in here into bedding. So I'll have that covered, I'll have that covered, and I will have that covered. And then I'll have their main traveling source right here, if you will. And so that's kind of what I look at. And just getting out and putting boots on the ground is going to be the most important thing for you. But if you can find public that is next to food, looking for good bedding areas like this is going to be really good bedding areas for them. And when you're walking around, if you can find some sort of water, some creek, some pond, whatever, like, they're going to have to like come to that water. And I feel like water is more of a magnet for them than anything else because they need to drink water. Like, they have to. Especially, I've seen quite a few people kill deer late season, especially off of water. They just get like a sense for it and then they just go to it. Especially like people hunting in like December. Like, if you get a pond that is like frozen over, if you just open that pond up, like, you'll be surprised how many deer come to that pond. But that is kind of just like my breakdown of like this property and what I would do. And how I look at it is just, I'm looking for a food source mainly because right here, something that they're going to feel safe on. And then you can just kind of, especially like these openings, you see these transition areas. And then I know that these bucks are going to be hitting these, the bottom of the ridge and the top of the ridge, looking for does come rut, coming off the field. They'll be cruising this ridge. This is a pinch point for them right in here, off on the field. So that's kind of what I think about. What are some things that you guys think about when you guys are looking at maps, and whatnot? And I hope you guys have a great one. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you